Lesson 99.
Ustedes.
Okay, in the last lesson, we learned how to say usted, which is a special term of respect. Of course, we also learned that we use third-person verbs with that special term of respect, much like in English, if we said, your honor is, or your majesty is. And now we're going to learn the plural form of usted, which is ustedes. Now, Antonio, usted is a formal way, it's a respectful way to address someone. What about ustedes? Is it exactly the same as usted, only plural, or is there anything different about it?
Okay, ustedes just happens to be the plural way of saying usted. So usted is just you, but in a formal way, which is treated as third person as opposed to the regular way, which is just treated as second person. So ustedes is just the same deal, it's just that it's plural. So when addressing directly more than one person, originally we learned some lessons ago that the way you address more than one person would be saying vosotros or vosotras, which is just y'all in the southern United States. But there's this other way of addressing more than one person in a more formal way, and that would be ustedes. Same concept as usted. You use third-person verbs. So the yo soy way of saying you are or y'all are, regularly would be just vosotros sois, but in this special respectful way, we say ustedes son. So the son is the verb. That son is used with third-person pronouns like ellas and ellos, as we see in the chart. But since ustedes is going to be treated as third person, we have to use always the same verbs that we use for the other pronouns of third person, plural.
Okay, so with the word usted, we use a third-person singular verb, and with ustedes, we're going to use a third-person plural verb. Correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay.
And, well, there's something else about this. This is a very special word. Ustedes, originally in Spain, as I said before, was just to address people in a more respectful or more formal way. Now that, in Latin America, over time, that became the only way of addressing more than one person directly.
Well, whatever happened to vosotros?
Vosotros just disappeared in Latin America. So vosotros or vosotras is only used nowadays in Spain. That's why in the chart we say Spain only. So in Latin America, the only way, there's only one way of addressing more than one person directly, and that would be ustedes. So basically, vosotros, vosotras, never use it in Latin America.
Can we start a campaign or something to bring back vosotros to Latin America?
Sure, good luck with that.
Okay.
Yeah, so ustedes, it's going to be the only way you're going to see this in Latin America. But for you European students, still use vosotros because that's the way it's used in Spain. And therefore, most people in the rest of Europe that happen to speak Spanish, there's a good chance that's what they're gonna use. But in Latin America, United States, ustedes. So basically, ustedes is informal and formal. It doesn't matter.
So it just depends on where in the world you are, right, Antonio?
Yes. So if you're in the United States or the rest of the Americas, only ustedes.
But in the Americas, it's going to be informal. It's just going to be the only way to say y'all, the only way to address multiple people.
It's going to be the only way, informal or formal. So as opposed to the singular forms in Latin America, as well as Spain, you have two different ways, which would be tú, informal, and usted, formal, both in Latin America, United States, and Spain. But the plural form is ustedes is going to be used both in a formal way and informal in Latin America, but not in Spain. In Spain, we have two different ways, vosotros, informal, and ustedes, formal.
Okay, now in Spain, ustedes really does have that formal feeling to it, right? Like you have some friends from Spain who were telling you a little bit about the way ustedes is used in Spain, weren't they?
Yes, I have these two friends. They're older couple, very nice people. They're probably in their 60s. Very nice people. The lady was telling me that once they went to a store in a mall, in a centro comercial, and there was this employee in the store which happened to be just a teenage girl, and she addressed them, my friends. My friends are much older than this girl that they don't know, and this girl obviously doesn't know who my friends are, and she addressed them as vosotros. And my friend, the lady in her 60s, well, she was telling me that she felt disrespected. That she said she felt like it wasn't correct for this young girl to be addressing her as in this informal way. So it's very, very common to use ustedes in Spain as a respectful way of addressing some adults you don't know. Imagine you go to the court and you just address the judge as "Hey, you," as opposed to saying "Your Honor." See, the judge would feel very bad and he would feel disrespected. Well, that's the same way my friend from Spain felt when this girl just called them, addressed them as vosotros.
So they felt that this girl was being a little bit too casual with them.
Yes. Now, if that same girl addressed somebody from Latin America as vosotros, then it wouldn't have any impact on them because people in Latin America are not used to that concept, where vosotros is used in an informal way and or casual way, and ustedes is in a more respectful, formal way.
Well, they're not accustomed to using vosotros at all.
Yes.
In Latin America, isn't that right?
Yeah, that is correct.
Okay, well, let's turn to the next page, page 118, and here we have a chart very similar to the one that we had in the previous lesson. Mm-hmm. And here we have all the different forms of yo soy, and this chart really is just here just to show you how the word ustedes is going to fit in with the other verbs that we know. As you can see, ustedes is over there in the third person singular square, but then our new word for this lesson, ustedes, that's third person plural, and of course the verb that you would use with it would be son. So we have this special plural title, ustedes, which is always going to be used with third person plural verbs. Isn't that right, Antonio?
Yes, that's correct.
So, Antonio, in this lesson, we've sort of described some differences in usage between the way Spanish is spoken in the Americas and the way it's spoken in Spain. Do you think that our students are going to be affected in any way by this, or do you have anything to say to our students with regard to this issue?
Yes, I would like to tell them from this point on in the book, I would like to recommend our students in the United States to use the ustedes form more than using the vosotros, vosotras form, because chances are that you're not going to have any scenarios where you're going to need vosotros or nosotras or vosotras.
Unless they travel to Spain or something.
Unless they travel to Spain. So from now on in the book, just focus on ustedes as opposed to vosotros. Now, for students in the UK and Europe, still keep practicing your vosotros forms, and both vosotros and the ustedes forms. But for the students in the United States, pretty much forget about the vosotros, vosotras business, because chances are you won't use it.
So it's just not going to be practical for someone who lives in the United States to work with vosotros and vosotras. It's just not really part of what they're going to be using when they speak.
Yes, because most Spanish speakers in the United States, they tend to be from Latin America mostly.
Oh, that makes sense. Okay. Okay, let's go through our exercises together. In number 1, we have the plural form of usted. That's ustedes, and it goes along with the third-person plural verb son, which means they are. If you were in Spain, this would be formal speech. It would be a way to formally address multiple people. If you said ustedes son, it might literally say, your mercies are. But since this is formal speech, it's really just a formal way to speak in the second person in Spain. So in Spain, this would say, y'all are, but it would say it in a formal way. In the Americas, this does not have that same sense of formality. In the Americas, this is really the only way that you would address multiple people. So it does not have that formal flavor to it. The reason for this is because in the Americas, they do not use vosotros sois. Instead, they use ustedes son as the way to address multiple people. So in the Americas, which I am guessing that's where most of you who are listening to this live, in the Americas, it would simply say, y'all are, but it would not have a formal feeling to it. Mis amigos means my friends. So number 1 would say, y'all are my friends, but it would not carry any formal feeling with it when you would say this in the Americas. In number 2, we have a question, and ustedes is the subject. Again, in the Americas, it's not formal at all. It's just a way to address multiple people. Ustedes and tienen would say, y'all have, but here they are reversed because it's a question. So tienen and ustedes, we'll translate that as, do y'all have? And un gato means a cat. So number 2 will say, do y'all have a cat? In number 3, we have ustedes and van. Together, those two words say, y'all go. A la playa means to the beach, and todas las semanas means every week. So number 3 will say, y'all go to the beach every week. In number 4, we have a question. Ustedes and van would say, y'all go, but here they're reversed because it's a question. So we'll translate van ustedes as, do y'all go? Al means to the, centro comercial means mall, and a menudo means often. So number 4 will say, do y'all go to the mall often? In number 5, ustedes is the subject and van is the verb. Together, those two words say, y'all go. The adverb nunca means never. So ustedes nunca van will say, y'all never go. Al means to the. Centro comercial means mall. And sin dinero means without money. So number 5 will say, y'all never go to the mall without money. In number 6, we have a question. Usted is a special title of respect, and es is a third-person singular verb of being, which means is. Literally, usted and es together might say, your mercy is, but this is really just a formal way to say, you are. Of course, it's a question, so they are reversed, and we'll translate es usted as, are you? El Señor Smith means Mr. Smith. So number 6, in a formal way, we'll say, are you Mr. Smith? In number 7, we have yet another question. Ustedes is a way to address multiple people in the Americas, and hablan is a third-person plural verb that goes along with ustedes. So ustedes and hablan will say, y'all speak. Of course, here it's a question, so we'll really say, do y'all speak? And inglés means English. So number 7, we'll say, do y'all speak English? In number 8, we have nosotros, and the verb is vamos. That means we go. Nunca means never. Al parque means to the park. Sin comida means without food. And sin agua means without water. So number 8 will say, we never go to the park without food and without water. In number 9, the subject of the sentence is mis padres. That means my parents. The verb is van. That's the third-person plural form of yo voy. So mis padres van will say, my parents go. Al centro comercial means to the mall. Conmigo means with me, and a menudo means often. So number 9 will say, my parents go to the mall with me often. In number 10, yo hablo means I speak. Español means Spanish. Contigo means with you. So the first part of the sentence will say, I speak Spanish with you. And then pero means but. And then we have another verb, hablo, which means I speak. And inglés means English. And con mis padres means with my parents. So altogether, number 10 will say, I speak Spanish with you, but I speak English with my parents. Notice how it was unnecessary to repeat the pronoun yo in the second part of the sentence.